Hello students, in this video we are going to start the third part of our chapter, that is the system of particles and rigid body. Now in this video we are going to start with the equilibrium of a rigid body. Equilibrium of rigid body. What is the meaning of the equilibrium? We have used this term number of times. The equilibrium means whenever the net force acting on the object is zero. Now initially we have started with the linear motion, but now in this chapter we have introduced about the rotational motion also. Means there will be the two type of the equilibrium. One will be the rotational equilibrium and second one will be the rotational equilibrium and second one will translational equilibrium. Clear? Now firstly we are going to discuss about the translational equilibrium. Translational equilibrium. What is the meaning of the translational equilibrium? Translational word means we are dealing with the linear motion of the particle. Translational equilibrium means a particle is there. Let us suppose this is the block. Number of forces are acting on the block, and the net effect of these forces is zero. The net effect of these forces is zero, then this block is said to be in the equilibrium. Means if the object is at rest or it is moving with the uniform velocity, then the object is said to be in the translational equilibrium. Now we are going to find the condition for translational equilibrium. Condition for translational equilibrium. Condition for the translational equilibrium. Now I have stated either the object is at rest or it is in the uniform motion. Velocity is the constant. Now according to the Newton's second law of motion, the external force acting on the object or the rigid body, that is given by dp by dt, rate of change of the linear momentum, or it can be written as d by dt of mp f external. So external force is equal to m dv by dt, can be written like this. Now in this case we have made the condition v is 0 or v is constant. In both cases dv by dt is going to be 0. So external force is equal to 0. Means if the net external force acting on the object is 0, then the object is said to be in the translational equilibrium. When the net force acting on the object is 0, in that case the object is in the translational equilibrium. Clear? Now next come to the second equilibrium, that is the rotational equilibrium. That one is the rotational equilibrium. Rotational equilibrium means we are dealing with the rotational motion. Rotational equilibrium. And object is said to be in the rotational equilibrium if the object is not rotating at all. You can say that. Means if I am going to write down the external torque is equal to dl by dt, this relation we have calculated in the last video. So torque is equal to dl by dt. Now if L is equal to constant, if L is equal to constant, in that case tau external will be equal to 0. Means these are the two conditions for the rotational equilibrium. An object is said to be in the rotational equilibrium if its angular momentum is constant or if the net external torque acting on the object is 0. So this is the rotational equilibrium and conditions for the rotational equilibrium. Either the angular momentum is constant or the net external torque acting on the object is 0. Clear? Now next one is the next topic that we are going to discuss here, that is topic is center of gravity. Center of gravity. Center of gravity. Now initially in the first video we have done about the center of mass. Center of mass was the point where the whole mass of the body was supposed to be concentrated. Where the whole mass of the body was supposed to be concentrated. Now what about the weight? Now if this is the body, any rigid body, let us suppose having the number of particles, it is made up of the number of particles and the weight of the each particle is given by W1, W2, W3 up to Wn. Now I am going to find a point. I am going to find a point where the whole weight of the body is supposed to be concentrated. The point where the whole weight of the body is supposed to be concentrated is called the center of gravity. Center of mass was the point where the whole mass of the body was supposed to be concentrated, and the center of gravity is the point where the whole weight of the body is supposed to be concentrated. Yeah. Now next one is we are going to make discussion on the moment of inertia. Moment of inertia. Moment of inertia. Now let us suppose a rigid body is rotating about this given axis. It is called the axis of rotation. This is called the axis of the rotation, and it is made up of the number of particles m1, m2, m3, m4, mn. Means this rigid body is made up of the large number of particles, and the mass of the each particle is represented by the m1, m2, m3 up to mn respectively. Let us suppose the first particle having the mass m1 is at a distance r1 from this axis of rotation, and the distance of the second particle is the r2, r3 up to so on, r4, and last particle having the distance that is the r. Now I am going to write down an expression, that is the m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square up to mn rn square. This formula that I have written here, it is called the moment of inertia and represented by the capital R. Moment of inertia is equal to the sum of product of mass of the particle and the square of the distance of the particle from the axis of the rotation. I is equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square up to so on mn rn square. So moment of inertia is equal to the sum of the product of masses and the square of the distance of the particle from the axis of the rotation, or it can be written as I is equal to summation I varies from 1 to n mi ri square. This is the expression for the moment of inertia. Now in the SI system, units will be, it is measured in the kg meter square, and in the CA system it will be gram centimeter square. These are the units of the moment of inertia. What is the physical meaning of the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia plays the same role as the mass plays in the linear motion. As the role of the mass is in the linear motion, in the rotational motion, the same role is played by the moment of inertia. Clear? Now next one is we are going to calculate the moment of inertia of the rigid body. Next is the moment of inertia of the rigid body. Moment of inertia inertia of rigid body. Now here we have taken the particles, and in case of the rigid body we are talking about the element. Let us suppose dm is the mass of elementary portion. We have supposed that rigid body is made up of the elements rather than the particles, and the dm is the mass of the each element. And the moment of inertia, that is given by for the discrete particles mi ri square, and moment of inertia for the rigid body we are going to calculate by replacing the summation with the integration. So moment of inertia I is equal to integration dm r square. This is the expression for the moment of inertia of rigid body. Now next topic that we are going to discuss here is the radius of gyration. Next one is the radius of gyration. Radius of gyration. For that, let us suppose our body is rotating about the axis, given axis, that is called the axis of rotation. Now this body is made up of the number of particles m1, m2, m3, m4 up to mn, having the masses m1, m2, m3, m4 up to mn. Now let us suppose r1 distance, r2 distance, r3, r4 and rn. Now I am going to calculate the moment of inertia. We have already defined. In this case, the moment of inertia is given by summation I varies from 1 to n mi ri square. This is the expression for the moment of inertia due to the actual distribution of the mass particles inside the body. Okay, so from here I is equal to, or you can write here m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square up to so on mn rn square. Now let us suppose the mass of the each particle is the same. Mass of the each particle is the same, means m1 is equal to m2 is equal to 2 so on mn. In that case, moment of inertia can be written as m into r1 square, r2 square up to rn square. Now multiply and divide by n. mn into r1 square, r2 square up to rn square divided by n. Now you can write it as the I is equal to, this is the capital M, total mass of the body, into r1 square, r2 square up to rn square divided by n. Clear? Now next one is the, I am going to take up one point here. That is called the center of mass. We have taken a point where the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated, and this is called the center of mass. Now let us suppose K is the distance of this center of mass from the axis of the rotation. Now I am going to make sure that the moment of inertia of this center of mass will be same as that of the moment of inertia due to the actual distribution of the mass in the body. Then the distance of this center of mass from the axis of rotation is called the radius of gyration. Means in this case K is called the radius of gyration, and according to definition the moment of inertia of the center of mass will be mk square, and it will be same as we have calculated here. So mk square, that is equal to m r1 square, r2 square up to rn square divided by n. M goes with n, so k is equal to r1 square, r2 square up to rn square divided by n whole raised to power 1 by 2. So this is the expression for the radius of gyration. So the radius of gyration is equal to the root mean square of the distance of the particles from the axis of rotation. From the axis of rotation. Clear? Now next topic is the kinetic energy of rotating body. Now we have to calculate the expression for kinetic energy of rotating body. Kinetic energy of rotating body. Kinetic energy of rotating body. We are going to find the expression for it. For that, let us suppose this is any body and it is rotating about such axis such that the particles are going to be rotated like this. The particles are going to be rotate like this such that from this distance r1, distance r2, next time we will proceed with the distance r3, such that the first particle is moving with velocity v1, the second particle with velocity v3 and the third particle with velocity v3. This is 2 up to so on up to vn. Now the kinetic energy of the particle 1 having the mass m1 is given by kinetic energy of the first particle 1 by 2 m1 v1 square. Kinetic energy of the second particle will be 1 by 2 m2 v2 square up to so on. Kinetic energy of the nth particle will be 1 by 2 mn vn square. So I have write down the kinetic energy of the n particles individually. Now I want to write down the total kinetic energy of the body. Now total kinetic energy will be kinetic energy of the first particle plus kinetic energy of the second up to so on, kinetic energy of nth particle. Clear? So from here you can put the value of the kinetic energies. Ek, that will be 1 by 2 m1 v1 square, 1 by 2 m2 v2 square up to so on, 1 by 2 mn vn square. Okay. Now put the value of the v in terms of the r and omega. v1 can be written as r1 omega square. v1 will be equal to r1 omega square because the angular velocity of the each particle will be same. 1 by 2 m2 into this is the total square. 1 by 2 m2 r2 omega whole square up to so on, 1 by 2 mn rn omega whole square. Now from here you will get ek omega square is going to be common. 1 by 2 m1 r1 square, 1 by 2 m2 r2 square up to so on mn rn square, or omega square by 2 m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square up to so on mn rn square. And this is the definition of moment of inertia. This is the definition of moment of inertia. It can be written as 1 by 2 I omega square. Kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 I omega square. So this is the kinetic energy of the rotating body. Clear? So with this topic we are going to end our video. In the next video we will continue our same unit and we will start with the kinematics of the rotational motion about the fixed axis and next one. Thank you.